at Whalers Brewing Company in South Kingstown, Rhode Island. 1 week from today, we will be in Springfield at the NBA Hall of Fame and look forward to seeing all you guys at one or several of the road shows this season. Mike Milbury is here. We're going to talk hockey and other things with him in a second. Mike, good morning, by the way.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good time last night?
I found my car keys.
Yes.
I usually set everything out for the morning, and I couldn't find my car keys.
Well, how do you lose your car keys?
I don't know. I didn't drive to the event. I left them on the front seat of my car.
Yeah.
With the windows open.
Yeah.
No.
But all's well that ends well.
Oh, so it didn't get stolen?
No.
Oh, that's good. That's good news.
It is good.
Yeah.
Morning, Wiggy.
What's up, Mike?
How are you? How come they give you a free sweatshirt? They name a sandwich after you?
Right.
How's this come about?
They love Wiggy in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
You know, help start a dynasty, and I guess that's what it is. Be no Brady without me.
Well, speaking of, before we get to talking hockey with you, speaking of Tom Brady, couple published reports this morning that he is in talks to become a partner, an owner of an NFL franchise. It is not the one that you may have suspected it would be, the Miami Dolphins.
Correct.
Turns out it is the Las Vegas Raiders.
Right. It is his second foray with the Raiders. Owner Mark Davis. Brady just got a part stake in the WNBA team out there in Vegas. And he is, according to Wickersham and Schefter, who are pretty plugged in with Brady, they say that he's in talks to be a limited or minority owner of the Raiders, which is also, I believe, who's the UFC guy from Boston, Dana White?
Dana White, yeah.
He's a part owner there as well.
Yeah. Remember when Dana took full credit for trying to get Tom Brady out there?
Right.
Said he almost had a deal done.
Excuse me?
Of course. Yes, Mike.
Who cares?
Well,
I don't care. I don't care that he's owning part ownership of a team in Vegas. Listen, he's gone. He threw enough TD passes to keep me happy for a lifetime. Now if he wants to own a WNBA team or an NFL team, have at it, brother.
Nail in the coffin, though, because that means he's not coming back.
Yeah, does that eliminate him from coming back?
That's what I was going to say, is that my guess is the Kraft announcement yesterday was on the heels of this coming to fruition, because there must have been a part of Brady that was still holding out the retirement ceremony until he knew he was officially not coming back, no matter what he had said publicly.
Yeah.
How does he do that, though? I mean, because if you're a minority...
Because the Krafts didn't give him any.
No, if you're a minority owner, how much say do you really have?
When it's Mark Davis, it's a pretty brilliant move. When the owner's a boob, you can get
So
it.
you think they're going to take Brady and he now becomes...
The front face.
Is he going the John Elway role?
He'll be the front-facing guy.
Okay. All right. Well, if he does that, then I think that gives him that type of... enjoyment to still be part of the game.
Right, from the four agreements to Sin City.
And there goes your hey, give Curtis credit. Spot on, because he will never do a broadcast, because if he's part owner,
Yeah.
Thank you. Once again, I don't know anything, but I know Tom Brady.
Mike, Matunic Oyster House, Oyster Bar, review from you.
Oh, there
certainly was a bar.
There was a bar there.
It was it's a great setting, right on the water, right by the oyster farm. Everything was fresh. It was great. It was great. Again, can't be any better. Great setting. But I think this is a great setting too at Whalers here. But I need a Sherpa guide to find the way to the back parking lot here. It was like, how do I get here?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, we're glad you're here. What did you think of Wiggy's place, the Ocean Mist, last night where we watched the game?
It was nice big screen TV.
Yeah.
Wiggy and I were talking shop and watched a pretty good basketball game.
All right. Well, this is sadly our last chance to talk hockey with you this season, but I hope you'll be back next season.
If he's got more money in the tank, he can just call me. I'll be ready to talk anytime.
So you're
right through the summer.
I mean, you won't come back for the same deal? I mean,
come on. I'm not negotiating over the air here.
All right, okay.
I want Wiggy's deal.
You want Wiggy's deal?
Listen, my deal's about to be up, Mike, so you might have it.
Oh.
All right, so let's talk Bruins and kind of your immediate thoughts after that epic collapse.
Well, not immediate. Because it's been a while, but that's probably a good thing. Time to reflect, and I'm going to tell you, when I took over as coach, I was told that I was responsible for conditioning, discipline and motivation. And
Harry Sinden said that?
he did.
Okay.
And he held me to it. And I held all my own coaches to that standard. I thought they looked like they were out of shape or slow or tired or something. I'm not there. I wasn't there every day, so I couldn't determine the actual cause of it. But there was no question that the other team was better prepared physically to play in the playoffs than the Bruins were. That's strike one for Jim Montgomery.
Okay.
Discipline. They gave the puck away all over the ice. They mishandled it, goalie to defenseman, careless coming out of their own zone, which was a huge strength. And strike two. Discipline wasn't there. And as far as motivation is concerned, usually, there's no out of bounds in hockey. It's not like basketball or football or baseball. There's no out of bounds. There's this wall that you have to play the game between, so you can't get away from it. And if you have a team that wins the wall battles, generally speaking, they're gonna beat you. By far, the more motivated team in scrums along the wall was Florida. A much better, hungrier team than the Bruins. Strike three. Jim Montgomery bears the brunt of this. And,
Not the players.
Well, obviously, he doesn't block shots. He doesn't score goals. But there still has to be somebody that's steering the ship. And I don't know where you put that guy. You can't take Tatum out of the Celtics lineup and say, Joe Mazzulla, you're going to coach this guy to the same level when you have Tatum. Or you take, McAvoy and Lindholm and Bergeron and Krejci out of the lineup and say, that doesn't make any difference. We still have a great coach. No, but he does have influence, and sometimes significant influence, and in positive and negative ways. Obviously, Jim Montgomery had a great regular season. The Bruins had a great regular season. He came in, took over from a guy who was, I guess, maybe a little rough and tumble on the players. Sorry, I have to pause there because my heart has a flutter when I worry about their feelings.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to think about that. But anyway.
Well, you had a guy who didn't seem to be too concerned with their feelings in your previous coach.
Something happened to get him fired because it wasn't his record. He had a .640 or something winning percentage. I mean, that's a hell of a winning percentage. But I think he probably ticked some people off with public comments, and that stirred the boat. But back to Montgomery. He comes in, and he's, everybody gets a lollipop. And that's not the way it is for me. I know it's a new world. I know coaches are treating their players differently, but for me, there's still time to enforce discipline and rules, and it's, I know that's probably counter to woke culture BS, but I'm all for there's a rule here for a reason. And if you're going to break it, you better have a damn good reason or face the responsibilities. I think he was too soft.
Yeah.
Just too damn soft. And trying to recreate himself next year is going to be interesting because the one good thing he has going for him is this roster is going to get blown up. It's got to get blown up. I don't know if Orlov wants to come back. Bertuzzi's an unrestricted free agent. Even Hathaway, unrestricted free agent. Krejci's gone. Bergeron's gone. That's 20% of your team, and I haven't talked about 4 or 5 other guys.
You think Bergeron is definitely gone?
Listen, I don't have him on speed dial, but in my mind, he should say goodbye. It's time. He's played warrior-like fashion. I don't know what happened.
It is an absolute shame, and I'll include Montgomery and the other players on that team, that they wasted this opportunity to win one more.
Yes.
For him.
Yeah. Well,
it pisses me off.
I
yes,
wouldn't be winning it. I didn't want to win it for Ray Bourque or Brad Park. Damn it, I wanted to win it for myself. That's what I wanted to win it for.
Yeah. Well, he's selfless.
Rally around the flag of Patrice Bergeron. Wonderful guy. I'm sure he's a wonderful captain, but that's not what people were. I'm telling you, this. Give Don Sweeney, Cam Neely, whoever credit. They put their team in a position to have the most balanced and talented lineup in the league. And set records because of that. They were put in a position to win a championship, and they fell flat on their faces. And I believe they weren't ready to play. I believe they weren't emotionally or physically ready to play, and they paid a price.
If you were the GM of this team, as you were the Islanders, would he be back, Jim Montgomery?
Well, as I said, with a change in roster as dramatic as it's going to be, appears to be, I guess you could stick with it. I mean, it would be a hard move, but I wouldn't have picked him in the first place. I wouldn't have picked him in the first place.
That's what I've been saying, Mike. Mike, I've been saying, they've been crapping on me, that it starts at the top with Neely and Sweeney. They did a great job of bringing in players. I'm not going to discredit for them. But they went the complete extreme from Cassidy to a guy that is too soft, allows the players to control the room. The same way we're having the same conversations about Joe Mazzulla versus Ime Udoka. You allow players to control the room. You allow Bergeron to say to you, last game of the season, I want to play in front of my dad. And then you end up with a back injury that affects you for the whole playoffs. And it's because they picked the wrong guy.
But so what? It was a fluke all season long, and he was
Lightning
the
in a
wrong
bottle.
guy all season long, and that was a
lightning in a
fluke?
bottle.
No.
Timeout. Olmark had an incredible season.
Yeah. Right.
Swayman had an incredible season after a little stumble. They picked, and nobody saw Olmark doing what he did this year. And by the way, goalie Bob, who I don't really know very well, but give him all the credit, but we're going to give him all the blame too. It's not the goalie coach that makes the decision, it's the head coach.
Yeah.
And this guy couldn't get up, Olmark, in the playoffs. After a brilliant season, he was clearly wounded, and they listened to him like they shouldn't have. Sometimes you have to be a real hard ass if you're a coach, and you have to say, no, you can't do it.
A player's always going to tell you that they want to play.
Right. And
or in
you,
most cases.
But you
not in baseball, but
you've got to listen to
Chili.
people, but see. Like, everybody could see that Olmark was having trouble recovering and getting up from a guy that was economical and square to the puck, and he was great. So continuing on this line, all the pieces were in place. Bergeron comes back, Krejci comes back, he fills a hole. Now you got, Marchand and DeBrus blooming after he's over his hurt feelings. And you got Taylor Hall on the third line with the best third line player in the National Hockey League, and Charlie Coyle and whomever on the right side. Nosek was a great fourth line player, and Pasternak was 61 goals. I mean, this was died and gone to heaven for a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have to do much of this or that or the other thing, but he said it. The playoffs are a different animal. The animal needed to be trained, but not at the start of the playoffs. Yeah.
Can we look back to all the time we spent loving the goalie hug and question that now? Because if Olmark was actually hurt, which we believe he was, and he's best friends with the backup who is almost at his level or at it at times this year, how could you tell your close buddy, I'm still better wounded than you are 100%?
It's hard. It's hard to make the assessment not knowing what the injury was, but it does raise the question. Like, here's Swayman waiting to get in. They put him in the most awkward of all situations.
Right.
Game 7 when he hasn't played in almost 3 weeks. And he was okay. He wasn't great. Didn't expect him to be. But how do you ask those guys to come back and share the net again?
No way.
And then somebody says in April, okay, Jeremy, take a seat at the end of the bench again. We're going with our guy Linus. Which is not easy to do if you're Jeremy Swayman. I think they're going to have to trade one of those guys. I really do.
Well, I want to talk. We got to take a quick break, but I want to talk to you about that because Don Sweeney, Cam Neely have a lot of decisions to make.
They do.
And so we'll talk a little bit about that. Mike Milbury is here in Rhode Island.
Woo!
He loves it so far.
Very happy.
Very happy, yes.
He found his car keys and he made it over here. We are at Whalers Brewing Company, and we will be right back.